Hello, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people of the world. Is your old friend here, Shaun Kirk. Welcome to episode number 7 of Kirk Questions. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for sending in all your questions. I am going to do my best to answer them to the absolute best of my abilities. Here we go. Wish me luck.
The first question comes from @Benji_MCC from Instagram.
Whoa, that was a good one. MCC in the house.
And Benji asks,
Benji?
ever thought about doing a Christmas album?
Benji, I like to think I'm not at that point in my career just yet. Although I think I did talk about on the last episode about doing a duet with Mariah Carey or something like that. So maybe I could do a Christmas album with Mariah Carey, but hopefully not just yet. Maybe give it a few more Christmases, let the world implode a little bit more, and there's no more Christmas trees left, and then maybe I'll do a Christmas episode. Bang! Cop that. Feel like I nailed that.
The second question comes from Ian Darag. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong.
Ian?
From Facebook. And they ask, do you have a must-do venue or festival?
Must do. Festival has got to be Blues Fest, has got to be Woodford Folk Festival, has got to be Port Fairy Folk Festival, Queenscliff Music Festival. The never-ending list. Yeah, so many great festivals out there at the moment, and that's just in Australia. I mean, I haven't even ventured overseas yet to do any of the festivals over there, but I've heard amazing things about a bunch of festivals in Europe and Japan and the States, and then in terms of venue, must-do venues. I was lucky enough to do the Palais Theatre a few years back, and that was pretty amazing. I don't know how much music they're holding there these days, but if you're a musician out there, thrive for the Palais Theatre. On my wish list is the Forum Theatre in Melbourne, Enmore Theatre, classic old massive theatres like that have got to be must-dos, definitely. And then small venues. There's way too many to name, small venues, must-do venues. I think I talked about it in the last episode. There was ones like the Wheat Sheaf in Adelaide, and the Brunswick Hotel, or the Hotel Brunswick, I should say. Hotel Brunswick in Brunswick Heads. That's a must-do gig. That one's really fun. I do that one usually on a Sunday, and they've got this massive beer garden, and they get a full PA rig in. And it's right next door to Byron Bay, so the weather's beautiful, and that's one of my favorite gigs. So that's a must do. Oh man, I'm thinking gigs that I used to do. Like a must do gig was back in the day. Like my old haunts was Ruby's Lounge in Belgrave, which is now Suki Lounge. But I could literally, I'm sure I've said this before, but I could literally sit here and I've done that many gigs now that I could sit here all day and just list them all. But that would be extremely boring for the watcher and the listener. So I won't do that. I will leave it at that. Those are my must-do gigs today. It could change tomorrow. See what happens.
The third question comes from Ian Hartley.
Another Ian. Double stereo Ian. Double Ian.
Double Ians. From Facebook.
Yeah.
And they ask, do you get a bit starstruck when you meet your idols?
It depends on who. And I think it depends on the day and how I'm feeling that day, mentally. I feel like I don't as much anymore. And there's probably a number of reasons for that. I think one, I'm probably a little bit more comfortable in my own skin now, and I feel a little bit more like I kind of belong in this industry, and that I've kind of, I just feel a lot more just grounded, like where I am right now, in terms of my career and playing ability or whatever. I think another thing is that these days I'm just a lot better at regulating my emotions. Like I've done a lot of work on that since my depression a few years back. I've done a lot of work on regulating and learning to breathe and meditating and things like that help to just level me out. And I don't see extremes at both ends of the spectrum, whether it be really, really happy or really, really anxious or sad or nervous or whatever. So I've done a lot of work on all that. So I think these days I don't get as starstruck, but in saying that, if Howlin' Wolf just walked in the door right now, I reckon I would shit my pants with joy. Shit my pants in joy. And my heartbeat would climb to 1,000. But early on in my career, yes, absolutely. I remember doing my first show with, let me think, some shows I did with Ash Grunwald when I was really young, and just every time I met Ash was just like. Who else have I done shows like Diesel? The first show I ever did with Mark was pretty nerve-wracking, and back in the day, yes, I definitely used to get a little bit starstruck, but these days, not so much. I just, they're all just people. We're all just people doing our thing, and I don't as much anymore.
Now the next question.
Yeet.
Comes from Douglas Claffer.
Dougie!
Hopefully I got that one right. On Facebook. And they ask, other than the open mic night that you've spoken about a couple of episodes ago, how did your first real paying gigs go? Any traumas or good vibes to comment on?
Oh, great question, Doug. Yes, absolutely. There was some horror stories. I remember my first ever paying gig was at the Basin Football Club out in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne. I used to play for the Basin when I was 16 years old or something like that. I played one season for them back when I was a football player. And I did a gig there. I think it was some kind of function. It was an awards ceremony or something like that. And I borrowed, my friend's dad's PA, I think, or maybe I hired it from the local rock shop, KC's rock shop, actually, down in Baronia. I think I hired it from there. And I knew absolutely nothing about PA systems and how they worked, and that if I put a microphone in front of the speakers that they would quite possibly feedback like crazy. And so I set my speakers up at the back of the stage, and then my microphone was right at the front of the stage, and then who knows how I had that microphone EQ'd. I probably had the top end, bumped all the way up, thinking it was the volume or something. And just could not get rid of the feedback, and of course I'm at a football club, so no one else knows what they're doing. There's no professional musos in the building. They're all a bunch of beer drinking football players. So it was pretty horrific. And I actually remember doing another gig back when I was playing in the little duo with a friend of mine, also for the Basin Football Club, where someone pulled the electric, like the cord out of the wall because they just couldn't stand the sound. So there's, definitely, like some of my early gigs were horrific, but I needed that. Like you need that, those failures in order to learn. Like, and from that, I went, all right, well, I went and asked the question to someone who knew, like, why is the microphone feeding back? I can't stop it. Why? And then someone said, well, it helps if you don't have the microphone in front of the speakers. And so if I didn't have that little experience, I might not have never learnt that. So failures are not a bad thing. Failures are extremely good. They're blessings in disguise, or maybe not so much in disguise if you can recognize that they're blessings. Failures are good. I had some awful, terrible gigs in the early days that I look back and laugh at, but it's all natural. It's all part of the process. And I love every little bit of it. Yeah!
Last question comes from Ash Pekska. Again, sorry.
Pekska. I think this Ash hosted a parlour house concert just a couple of weeks back, I think.
there you
Over in
go.
sunny Western Australia.
Whew, well, welcome, Ash.
Hope you're well, Ash.
Kirk's questions.
Yeah.
Well, this one comes from Facebook as well, and they ask if fans could download or purchase a Shaun Kirk ringtone for their phone, what would it sound like?
Do people even download ringtones for their phone anymore? Is that a thing? That's such a early 2000s question when I had like a freaking Nokia 3210. What the hell, Ash? What phone are you rocking these days? Have you got a smartphone, or are you still rocking, the Snake? Have you still got Snake on your phone? That's amazing that you've asked that question. And what was it? If someone had
downloaded a Shaun Kirk ringtone for their phone,
yep,
what would it sound like?
I guess
what would be the best ringtone Shaun Kirk vibes?
I don't know. I reckon I'd recommend one of my 2 latest singles, either Howlin' at the Moon or Save My Soul. But I guess maybe the guitars wouldn't sound quite as fat. They'd sound a bit more beep, 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 like that. I guess that's how it would sound. That's all I've got for that one, Ash. I'm a little bit perplexed. That was an amazing question that I never saw coming. And it sounds like you, my friend, are due for maybe an upgraded phone, or maybe not. Maybe it's actually a good thing having an old phone, because you don't get to watch Kirk questions. You don't see any of that. You don't see any Facebook or Instagram, and you stay grounded in the real world, the non-social world. Yeah, anyway, amazing question. Thank you so much, Ash. That was incredible. Thank you so much for watching, you legends. And thank you so much to everyone who sent in their amazing questions. There were some real classics in that episode, and I had a lot of fun answering them for you. If you're out there and you want to ask a question, if you've got something in the back of your mind, like, I wonder what Shaun would think of this, or I wonder, how Shaun does this or that, and I can somehow help you with that question, please ask below. Go. Don't mess around. Just drop it down there, and we will chuck it on the list, and I will get to it as soon as we can. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat, Pinterest, all that stuff. Mind you, Pinterest might not be that interesting. I literally just opened an account the other day because my graphic designer asked me to. So I haven't got my head around that, but maybe I will soon. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, you legends. Take care. See you next time. You!